All right, welcome to episode number 34 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me as always is Dr. Games 101.
Hello.
And we have a few things to talk about, a lot of ideas we came up with last minute. You did bring up Thanksgiving. I want to cover that first because you did say you wanted to do a special stream.
Okay.
How do you feel? How do you feel about doing the wrestling game that we discussed, Total Extreme Wrestling 2020, where you would be able to, where basically I would want, I'd do the gameplay, but you would decide what happens. You would decide what company to run, who to hire, fire, who wins matches, etc., etc. How do you feel about that idea?
It seems kind of inconsistent at first, but if we practice, with what we have to prepare ahead of time, then there'll be no problems.
Thing is, practice. I'm currently running 2 series on Total Extreme Wrestling, so I would know what to do.
Okay.
It's just if we do it on Thanksgiving, I would need to ask you a couple questions now, so I could have the picture packs ready and the game ready, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So say we do it on Thanksgiving. I don't know what time yet because we would obviously start after we both ate dinner. And I think I don't know about you. Does your family usually eat dinner early on Thanksgiving?
Well, we don't have to do it exactly on Thanksgiving day or night. We can do it the day after, Friday night, if it's okay with you. And then I think it's the best bet because everyone's eating on Thanksgiving with their families and friends, their close family and friends. Sure, there'll be people on Xbox Live playing the Thanksgiving night, but it's more of like the downtime, whatever. Everyone just ate and whatever, so it's kind of like they're not gonna focus too much on the actual gameplay or what we do or talk about. So it's best to leave it as is on Friday.
The reason I was thinking Thanksgiving Day, and I don't know if this is you, but what my family usually does, we eat dinner like in the afternoon. We eat dinner on holidays earlier than I eat lunch during the normal day. Dinner will be like 1:30, 2 p.m., maybe 3 p.m. if something takes a little longer to cook.
Right.
And then by 5 p.m. we're done. That's why I was saying maybe 6 p.m.-ish. We do it on Thanksgiving, and then we could play the rest of the days by ear. Because when we go back to Friday, even though it's considered Black Friday, I know not everyone has off that they would on Thanksgiving.
Right.
So we would obviously get more views on Thanksgiving.
All right.
And if it's a special Thanksgiving Day stream, it should happen on Thanksgiving.
I know. I guess you're right.
So, would you be able to make that schedule, or would you be?
Of course. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And obviously, I'll call you. We won't start till we're both ready. Things like that.
Yes.
Next question. If we play Total Extreme Wrestling 2020, what company would you want to run?
WWF or WWE.
Okay. What year would you want the game to take place in?
2007. That's when went downhill. Start went downhill.
If I can't find a 2007 mod, will 2006 work?
That's fine. That's the best.
Okay,
that's like the second best year of the last year, I should say. That was good.
Okay, so 2007. If I can't find the 2007 mod, then we'll do 2006 because I know there's a 2006 mod. Yeah, I thought you were going to answer 2021, and I'm like, wait a minute, you don't even watch WWE. Why would you want to play?
I do watch clips. Here's the thing, though. I have Twitter notifications, also my phone notifications on Facebook and stuff. So I do see what's on WWE of the SmackDown episodes, at least that. But I do watch SmackDown episodes. Last time I watched them full episodes were about last 2 weeks ago, if not a week ago. I think it was. I talked to my friend, my other friend I met over on Xbox Live. His name was, call him Mr. X for privacy concerns, because he doesn't want to be mentioned publicly. So Mr. X, him and I would watch, we had a watch party of some sort with watching AEW and SmackDown and stuff like that. So it's all right. What makes them both the Saturday night live action, whatever, that's perfect. So it wasn't so bad. I like that kind of entertainment. But the WF it's by itself, as of this state, in the state that's in now, I don't see it. I don't see that exciting or as memorable.
Yeah, it's WCW 2001.
Yes. It is.
Okay, but the thing, so like I was gonna ask, if you had chosen, WWE 2020 or 2021, I'm gonna be like, wait a minute, you're not even familiar with most of the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Why would like me? I chose because like I can find mods. They actually have a mod. I kid you not, starting in 1934.
Well, if I call currently WWF wasn't considered to be called WWF until like what, the 1970s. So
yeah, I don't even think WWF was around back then. I think 1934 was like the beginning of like
mainstream
wrestling period on television.
Yeah.
Well, TV wasn't even out yet in 34, so
yeah. Well, there's been experimental radio shows, stuff like that. I bet there's radio. They have radio coverage of the matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. One more question, and then we'll go on to a different topic. They have the different kind of leader that you can be. There's, I'm going to read the term. Basically, I'm asking, what type of player do you want to be? You'll obviously want to have full control over WWE, right?
Of course.
Okay. Now they always say, based to give out your attributes. They give you like 6 different categories, and you got 30 points to spend between all 6. You can either divide all 6 however you want, or B, they have preset settings depending on what type of person you're going to be. These are the types of people you can be booking wise. You can be a chaotic leader, a creative genius, an ideas man, an industry veteran, inspirational leader, jack of all trades, lucky dip, steady hand, the diplomat, the hustler, or the top negotiator.
Jack of all trades.
Okay, that basically will put you at 5 out of 10 in everything.
I'm even, pretty much. I'm even Steven Citrus, politically as well as in gamer speak.
All right. So I'm gonna start working on that. After this podcast, getting the mod ready. Getting the picture packs, and then even if you have to look at it on Twitch, I'll be asking you everything that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So even if there is a delay on Twitch, we'll be constantly talking. So the delay on Twitch, it's not like when I showed you those Resident Evil casting decisions. It'll be like
Twitch TV has gone much better over the last several weeks, if not months. Because back last year, if you remember correctly, it was hard as heck to synchronize our live content. Like what we're doing right now with the back-to-back talk, this talk-to-talk, that on Twitch TV is like a 30-second delay. But this now turned a 5-second, 10-second, no more than that kind of delay.
But the thing is, we'll be talking via Discord. I'll be bringing up everything you want that you could possibly want to do, and then you'll be making decisions. I'll be booking them, and we'll see how the game. We'll see how they play out in the game.
Okay.
Also, I almost forgot. You have to fix on your Patreon page. On your Patreon, you put for the podcast 2 weeks ago, you only put up a segment. You didn't put up the full podcast.
Oh wow! I'm sorry about that, guys.
So since I'm gonna be relying on you for this week, like you said, I'll need the full video. I'll need somewhere I can get it. I could go to your YouTube and get it since I'm a member of your Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't be able to upload the full podcast until you have it up in its hidden section on YouTube.
Right. Understood. Sorry about that, guys. I guess I overdid it. I kind of stayed up all night that night, and I did editing of the full podcast, and I thought I'd upload everything onto the YouTube unlisted page. But that was my fault, so I'll fix that after this podcast episode.
Okay. So let's get to other. Let's get to topics I actually wrote down. Um, you want to talk about this? We're going to talk about all the things. Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3.
I can't believe it.
What exa-
I'm sorry, go
What
on.
exactly do you? What exactly? I'll let you have the floor first.
Well, you just mentioned to me about the situation in just earlier tonight. So I didn't. I was surprised at first, but I didn't look into it further yet. So I was wondering if you could tell about overall what's it about really. Why is it that this was taken off the Xbox store or any other outlets out there?
Okay, well, all digital storefronts is removing Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, and the reason for that is because like during the story segments, they use a lot of historical
Mm-hmm.
clips.
Oh yeah.
Now, I thought that was public domain, like the 12 Days of Christmas. Anyone could sing that song in any movie. There's not going to be any problems.
Of course.
But apparently, Metal Gear or whoever, or Kojima or Konami, they had the rights to use the footage that they used, but they didn't have the rights to use that footage forever.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't public domain, and now a lot of those historical videos have to be deleted from the game in order to sell the game again.
Interesting.
So, like,
Like
just I'll bring up the example. Metal Gear Solid 2, was it? Yeah, it was
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear Solid 2. If you watch in the credits, you'll see like a view of WWE New York in the credits section. It's like
Okay.
half hidden, but you can see like half the sign.
Like
So I'm
okay.
guessing things like that will have to be taken out, especially since that restaurant doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Like the state.
But also clips talking like in Metal Gear Solid 3, the Cuban Missile Crisis. I think that happened during Metal Gear Solid 3's timeline.
Hmm.
Was that?
Well, with Metal Gear Solid 3, it was in regards of the World War II and at the aftermath of World War II and the Cold War. And then one leads to another, they involved Khrushchev and President Johnson, our U.S. President Johnson, having a discussion, etc., etc. And they poked that in a literal, not literal sense, but almost like, not satirical, but more like this parody sense, in a serious manner, though. Because it's
They used
historically.
but the problem is they used actual footage of those politicians during that time to tell their
Um,
story, and that's the problem they're running into now.
from what I learned and also played, I played this game 3 times over, to beat the game three times over. And in the beginning, the first 2 or 3 hours, they talk about many things about the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it did show coverage of the Cuban Missile Crisis, and as well as the space race and the arms race and things that matter. President Johnson and Khrushchev of the USSR, he actually and them talked to one of the at least a couple of times in the past, and then that was like when after Kennedy died. That's just that's historical reference, of course, but this is more of a Metal Gear issue, like the actual lore of Metal Gear as an entertainment aspect. That's what I learned and seen from the Metal Gear Solid 3, especially that. They enriched the Metal Gear Solid 3 of its historical value via the post World War II and the Cold War, and the Vietnam War. If you want to include that too. So
Yeah, so apparently, the way I heard it, it's just they didn't have a right to use the historical footage again.
mhm.
So now they're taking the game off, and if it does go back to digital storefronts, it's gonna be it'll probably come back without the all that historical footage that was included in the 2 and 3.
Oh yeah.
And as a shameless plug, if you want Metal Gear Solid 2 for PlayStation 2, I have that available in my store.
Hmm. And I'm also doing gameplay, not sample gameplay, but full gameplay of it the past couple of weeks. So you feel it to be in if you want to see a preview of it, whether it's for 1 minute or even the entire gameplay, and you can play it after yourself.
Okay, so ready to move on?
What I want to say though is that if we're still talking about Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 with its censor, it's kind of like censoring itself in a sense because
Yeah.
why is it that after 20 years, there was no problems buying this game on Xbox Store, on PlayStation Network, and before the 2010s, where everything's gone digital, we had the disc to buy it on from the PS2, PS3, sometimes Xbox with a substance version. So all of a sudden now is a problem. Why is that? And I just did recordings of it 2 weeks prior to all this news. So
I think it's right. To tell you the truth, I don't think it's any kind of censorship. I think it's all licensing issues.
If that's the case, they would claim the copyright claiming by now for putting Metal Gear Solid 3 gameplay or even Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay out. Because Metal Gear Solid 2 talked about defense measures and the U.S. government as a whole and its agencies in detail, because there's a specific agency that focuses on bomb disposal. The agency focuses on counterterrorism. I mean, this is not some FBI joint port authority, whatever, in real life, whatever. This is actually like actual federal government in the federal government of agencies with the Pentagon and stuff. And these are real life, if not similar agencies in the real realm of things, the real reality of things. So they don't want people to think. That's what I think, because they don't want people to think about their agencies. There's agencies in the government. There's these people in the government, and they don't think that this government says is almighty. Praise to God, give us food, give us water, give us everything for free. And that's what they're trying to raise people to be for quite some time now. Even after when we just graduated from high school, they started teaching kids way more about cultural Marxism in indirect manners. Now they're doing the homosexuality thing and the what's it called, the transgender and all this transhumanism and stuff like that. Like, we didn't learn about this stuff in our high school classes, did we? I don't remember all of this.
No, we didn't.
This happened after the fact, like 5 years after, like 2010 until beyond. Ridiculous. Now all of a sudden they want to dumb you down. I understand that it sounds political, but this is where it comes down to. They don't want the gamers to be smart and intelligent and to be open-minded and broad-minded about many things. And then when all of a sudden, not just to toot my own horn, but I feel like I have a say in this or a play in it, because I put myself out there doing recordings as early as early November. So people have been watching it over how many views on BitChute alone, and let alone YouTube. Well, YouTube is one thing to get like a couple of views here and there, but on BitChute I get like 100, maybe 50, maybe 40 or 30 at least, and that's a lot right there. And BitChute sees who really is what uploaded and to what content is getting out there fully. So, that's my take.
Okay. All right. Again, I think it's licensing issues. There might be more nefarious means. I don't want to say there are without having the evidence to support that.
Of course, yeah.
But
it's just a coincidence. More like
yeah. So, can we move on?
Yeah, sure. I'm done. Thanks for letting me know for the talk on.
Nope, no problem. The next story, we're going to talk about the Grand Theft Auto 3 trilogy. Do you want to start?
Oh yes. Unfortunately, I cannot afford the definitive edition. I don't want to. The only game I can also get with my Game Pass. What's the San Andreas? Thank you, Mr. X, for the Game Pass coverage of the payment towards my subscription and all as an add-on to it. So, it's all right. It's just so different in itself. Like, the Unreal Engine, it cleans things up, yes, but it looks so not cartoony, but like just because the riders, when a rider holds his bike like this, like when he sees when he talks to CJ, like, yeah, get yourself a haircut, bro, and you see these arms and like doing all this shit with his arms, like it looks like he's had 3, 4, 5 bones in his arm. Like, what the hell? And this is only the first 20 minutes of the game I'm playing, and all of a sudden this layout, this outlay, like, how like you go outside and you see like from like a certain distance what part, like I can see the World Trade Center from here, the One World Trade Center, from my window on my, wherever the floor I'm on. But if I'm down below, I only see the ground level, or whatever. So San Andreas, they put this two together like this, like this. It's like, what are they doing? I'm feeling like I'm like flying more than like riding or walking, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just the perception is not there, like it once was in the PS2 version, the original PS2 version. Excuse me.
San Andreas, is this for the original Xbox or Xbox 360? On Game Pass.
No, San Andreas, the one is definitive edition. It's free on Game Pass.
That's available on Game Pass.
Yes, but not the other ones. Last time I checked.
Wow, that's so weird, because I know Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City eventually came out on Xbox. I have Grand Theft Auto 3 for Xbox, also for sale. So I assume San Andreas came out either Xbox or Xbox 360, and that's what people were getting. But there's actually more problems with the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. Sticking with San Andreas, the perception is really bad. Like, you could be up in a plane and you'll see like the whole map.
Yep.
You'll see there'll be no fog. It'll be, no matter how high you go, you'll just eventually see the edge of the world.
Oh yeah.
Because they turned up the visibility all the way, got rid of the fog, and they did other things too. The rain, when it rains, it's you ever hear the saying, when it rains it pours?
It rains and pours, the old man is born.
Well, in San Andreas, like when it rains it pours milk.
Yes, like whiteness.
It's a milky substance that's so thick you can't even see a few feet in front of you when it rains.
And that's not in real life.
instead of transparent water, it's white drops. It looks like it looks like it rains milk, which would be great if that happened in real life, but that's not what happens. And as I say that, I just think about the smell afterwards. That would be awful, actually. Sour milk everywhere.
And the other way around. So the girl's like, "Oh my god, it's so icky." Oh.
Someone had a gameplay where they were in a garage on San Andreas, and it was raining inside the garage.
I didn't get up to that part yet, where it was rains. That's only the first one.
Let's see, did I write down anything else? Any characters don't look like they used to. The old guy that used to cut your hair in San Andreas, he looks like 30, 40 years younger.
Yes, they went back in time so badly.
There's one more. That's the one I had. Yeah, so they took Grand Theft Auto off PC storefronts, so you can't buy it for the PC. Definitive Edition. That's all the glitches I remember. Oh, if you get this I think was in either 3 or Vice City. If you get hit, if you are in a car crash, your car will go flying across the screen like you're a frisbee.
It's like worse than Cyberpunk.
They removed some cheat codes that were in the original game,
and they got rid of some soundtracks.
Yeah, they got rid of some music in the game.
It was over a licensing issue, I heard. I was like, give me a break. You tell me that you had how many years of the 20th anniversary of GTA 3 that you couldn't wait. Well, for the 5 years you finished GTA 5 years ago, over maybe 7 years ago actually, and you didn't have the time to research and also request licensing from the Warner Music Group and Sony Music Group and all these companies, all these labels. Yeah, be kidding me. It's laziness.
Not to mention stuff like Chatterbox, and I don't imagine it could be so expensive because stuff like Chatterbox they created.
Oh yeah.
So they would have the rights to that, but you couldn't.
But Laszlo, he's a real life guy. He may have a stake in that licensing though. That's the problem.
But the music. That's another thing. How do you release a game and not release the music that's identifiable with the game?
Mm-hmm.
When I play Saints Row 1 or 2, I might hear 50 Cent come on. I would hate to think when they release Saints Row 1 or 2 now, if they re-released it, what music would probably be there? It'd probably be all different music. If they went the Grand Theft Auto 3 Definitive Edition route.
Mm-hmm.
So Grand Theft Auto 3 Definitive Edition, they should rename it Crappy Edition. It's not worth it. Stick with the normal games. If you really want to play 3, I'm probably going to be plugging games in my store all night, but I'll do it. I got Grand Theft Auto 3 for PS2 and Xbox for sale.
That's cool.
Someone actually posted a picture on Twitter. It was them playing San Andreas on a CRT TV, and they said, I'll stick to this for now. Mm-hmm. Instead of the definitive edition. So, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 3 trilogy turned out to be a disaster.
Oh, yes, altogether.
I expect better from Rockstar and Take-Two. You know, the reason people love Grand Theft Auto so much, it usually gets a lot more care than this.
Back in the day, 20 years ago, games, even though there's some games that can have glitches, whatever, it is so minute compared to today's standards or today's way of making games. It's all about the laziness, all about a quick buck, whatever. It's not about, you know, the dedicated fans or the dedicated following of their product. And I understand that's about business. Business is business, but business also involves quality control and also content control, as well as allowance of expression of the content too. Once they get rid of all those 3 aspects, it's like, forget about it. It's pointless to go forward to gaming, not back. That's it. You go backwards now with what you want to do as a gamer. So.
Yeah, and I didn't write this down, but I just remembered it, so we might as well bring it up. Mm-hmm. What about Take-Two going after giving copyright strikes, taking down mods that people created that actually made the definitive edition better?
I can't believe Take-Two. This is a smaller. This is a developer, right, or a publisher?
They're a publisher, but they're not small. I mean, like I said, they went after my Chinatown Wars review on YouTube in 2010.
That early? Oh, okay. So this has been like this for many years then.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing, whatever. Okay. But ever since 2010, the copyright system started to become more and more censored, more and more smart in a sense. Since 2010, in my perspective, because I've been on YouTube since early as 6th of August 30th. That's my birthday, of my 19th birthday. And by 2008, I started doing more videos of that. And after all these times, until 2010, now all of a sudden there's like more of these copyright IDs and more of these claims, counter claims I'm trying to do, said that's unconstitutional and stuff. The Constitution is useless to these guys. To these publishers and developers now. It's all about, oh, we want you to give us money to use our services. It's like, I'm a small YouTuber. I just play games and record. That's like, we're not some billionaire making billions of views, billions of dollars from this company. We're not like that. One day it might be like that. You know, you never know, right? But on YouTube,
I wish, maybe.
I mean, with YouTube, we wish YouTube could do this, but YouTube right now is going down like MySpace, and it's like,
yeah,
it's not to get rid of dislikes. We should talk about that too. Like, this is ridiculous. They're messing up the quality.
I'll add that to the list. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, definitely. So
okay, can we? So, but the thing is, the point I was making about the Grand Theft Auto 3 mods, people were actually fixing the errors for free as a labor of love, and Take-Two was taking them down. And it's like, if anything, you should be ashamed if you're Take-Two, because these people are volunteering to to do your job for you, provide a much better gaming experience than you provided, that you got paid to provide, and you're going after them saying, no, people have to buy our crappy version. Delete. Alright. Well, if we didn't give any gamers nightmares, we're going to give them, let's give them nightmares with this possible thought. What if they do a remake of Grand Theft Auto 4?
I never played Grand Theft Auto 4. I never did. But one day
Really?
I will try to get a copy when it's on sale again for Black Friday. Not this Black Friday because I don't have money right now, but next Black Friday, you know.
Yeah, I don't have my money issue's not the best it's been, but yes, it could. But the thing is, Grand Theft Auto 4, it was actually not so bad. I like the story it told. I like the protagonist. They gave you choices in the game, like you could choose. At one point, two people tell you to kill the other one. You could decide which one you kill.
Mm-hmm.
Other people you're told to kill, you can either decide to kill them or to help them escape.
Yep.
So Nico Bellic, who you play as, he wasn't a gangbanger. He wasn't Scarface. He wasn't a criminal on the one from the police. He was just someone who came to America because his cousin told him, "Hey, I got this great fortune. I got this business. Business is booming. I'm making money out the wazoo. You gotta come." You come to Liberty, and basically when Miko got there, he saw the results, and he wanted to help his cousin.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But yeah, imagine they take the same lack of care that they took with this trilogy, and put it in Grand Theft Auto 4.
Unreal Engine, maybe it might work for Unreal Engine for GTA 4, but the trilogy, it should have been a different engine, like Frost. Let's call it Frostbite engine or Frost engine, or maybe
Yeah.
or maybe they could use something else other than like that, like maybe like the Halo engine. I think it'll work great. The Halo engine there's a zombie game where you walk around as a zombie and Halo graphics, whatever. That could be good for that, but upgrade the Halo engine to like Halo Engine 2.0, something like that,
Yeah, so, but the thing is, regardless what engine they use, they would have to care. And I have a feeling Rockstar and Take-Two's like, you know what? It's got the Grand Theft Auto name on it. It'll sell. just put it out there.
With those glitches,
the game crashes after 15. The game crashes after 15 minutes. Just put it on the disc and sell it.
I said digital, but this, come on now.
And the thing is, it doesn't matter how great you are or how much money you have. If you keep treating your customers like that, gamers like that, they're not going to continue to trust you right off the bat.
Maybe the younger gamers will be interested in buying it because they never experienced the GTA trilogy like that before. But that's only a small minute of them. As the older guys, anyone over 25, you guys know what happened with GTA 3, San Andreas, and Vice City. And it's one of the greatest experiences ever, especially San Andreas. And that's why, I think that's one of the reasons why Xbox played on the Game Pass instead of the other two, because, that would sell well and give players a preview of them. And I've seen enough. I'll play more for the achievement's sake, but as far as like the experience, it's kind of ruined. I mean, it's still San Andreas, but it's not the same San Andreas,
Yeah. So so that's why they got to handle these games with more care, or just don't release them at all.
Mm-hmm.
People basically harassing developers trying to get refunds, especially for the PC edition, and it's just like, well, if you had launched a better game, something that worked better. Again, did people not test this shit before it went out?
I thought they had game testers and trialers, but
Yeah.
Because they can't afford those right now. They cut back everything, I bet. They cut back the development time, the crunch time, this time, that time. No breaks, no coffee break, no break for lunch, nothing like that. You just work, and work for little, work a lot.
And yeah. So, I kind of want to see them do a Grand Theft Auto 4 remake with the same lack of care they did this Grand Theft Auto 3 trilogy, just to see what it'd be like. But
with the Unreal Engine, maybe it might work, but not the other engines.
But if Rockstar does do that, they'll become just as viable as Sega.
Yeah, Sega is still selling Sonic games and other products and stuff, other games. They haven't made a system in over 20 years.
They quit as being a console developer, but they're not neutral. They're not tied down to one console either. But I mean, so let's recap what happened with Sega. The Sega Genesis was great, a great competitor for the Super Nintendo. People were told the Sega CD and the 32X would be the next system, the next big one, and they weren't it. The Sega Saturn came out about 6 months after the 32X. Mm-hmm. Then we were told the Saturn is going to be it. The Saturn is the hot new system. Saturn is going to Saturn's going to be number one, and it wasn't. And then when the Dreamcast came out, so many people had been burned. Like, wait a minute, you told me Sega CD was it, that wasn't it. You told me 32X was it, that wasn't it. You told me the Saturn was it, that wasn't it. Now you're trying to get me to buy a Dreamcast? I think that's what killed the Dreamcast.
I have to say the Dreamcast had potential. I still have my own Dreamcast, even though it's covered in some weird atmospheric sense, because it's not dusty. It's just that it's an open container with other games in it, and hopefully it still works after all these years. But the system I have,
as long as like it didn't fall, as long as the container didn't fall or anything.
No, I didn't drop the Dreamcast not once. So plus the system itself as Dreamcast, they did a good job with selling these type of games like Resident Evil Code Veronica. That was an exclusive for quite some time until last year. Following year for the PS2, so they must have sold the rights to Sony. Then they also got Crazy Taxi, what's it called?
Stone.
D2, Dino Crisis, which I believe that's also available for the PS1 at the time. But Dino Crisis is better on Dreamcast if you want to have that better quality and seeing your health bar on the controller with the stick in it, the memory stick in it.
Yeah,
that was so
the memory
cool.
card, yeah.
Resident Evil Code Veronica was the same thing too. It's like you see your actual health bar. Like, damn, this is so high tech back then. This is 20 years ago. I think someone should have picked that up themselves by now for the PS5. Oh, sure, the Wii did the Wii U, but people thought that was an add-on to the Wii, so it's like that was a horrible marketing ploy. Problem. Yeah. So.
Well, since we're talking about the Dreamcast, let's talk a little bit about the Dreamcast. Crazy Taxi, I heard, sold like 750,000 copies on the Dreamcast alone. Like you said, they had Resident Evil Code Veronica, which was exclusive at the time. They had Power Stone, which has still never come out on any other system except for PSP. And Power Stone 1 goes for like a fair penny, like $40 now. Power Stone 2 is like $55.
I gotta get Power Stone 2 before it's too late. It's very good.
Did you ever play the first one?
I played it many times. I try to beat every single kind of achievements. Yeah. Go on.
I heard Power Stone 2 was basically like a 4-player version of the first one. Like the big new thing was instead of 2 people fighting each other, you could have 4 people fighting each other in the second one.
Yes, indeed.
If you have a PSP, you might want to get the Power Stone Collection if you can. That's supposed to be much cheaper. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they had Power Stone 1 and 2. They had Soul Calibur. They had Gauntlet Legends. Although that was multi-platform, because I think the N64 also had it.
I doubt it. That's just where they have it. So definitely Dreamcast had it. Dreamcast was arcade version prior to the Dreamcast. So
yeah, and then they had games like Ultimate Fighting Championship, the first ever UFC game.
I did not know about that. Wow.
I used to have Ultimate Fighting Championship on the Dreamcast. It was, for a first game, it was actually pretty good. They had like a lot of stuff you could do in it. They didn't have like the create a pay-per-view mode, but they had you could create a fighter, have them spar with different opponents. Then you had to take them down. I think you had to take them down some mode. I forget which was. Win that mode to win the silver belt, and then you had to defend your title 12 times on Championship Road to get the gold belt. And then on top of that, they had Exhibition, they had the training. You could create your own fighter. So they, for the first attempt at a UFC game, they put as much in there as they possibly could.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, just those games alone, and then you had the Sonic games. You had Rayman. House of the Dead was on there.
I got House of the Dead too on there.
Yeah. So the Dreamcast had, like we say, the Dreamcast had potential. I feel the Dreamcast would have been successful had people not felt burned out about what they was told was going to be the future before Dreamcast came out. I'm not saying scrap the Saturn. You could definitely scrap the 32X. You scrapped the first 32X. Why you didn't scrap the second, I'll never know. Sega CD, I like it, but I'm in the minority on that. As a matter of fact, before we move on, did you know that before they came out with the 32X, there was supposed to be another Sega system? It was going to be called the Sega Neptune.
Oh yeah, that red and black Sega Saturn 2 or Sega Dreamcast 2, whatever.
No. This was right after Sega CD. They were going to create something called the Sega Neptune. Okay. What their infatuation with naming consoles after planets was, I have no idea. But the Neptune was going to play Genesis games and 32X games. It was going to have its, it was going to connect on its own. It was going to have two cartridge slots, so you could play Genesis and 32X games, and it was going to be its own standalone console. They scrapped it and gave us the 32X instead.
Probably because it's too expensive of its time.
Yeah.
Who could afford $250 for this SNES back in 1985 when my mom got that for Christmas? That was so expensive back then. $250 is a lot of money to a lot of people back in the 90s. Now it's like $250 to me. It's like, even though I'm considered to be more a low income person, I can still afford $250 for the sake of my health, for paying for my health memberships or whatever the co-payments or whatever of my bills and all. But other than that, back in the 1990s, you'll be a lucky man with $250. So
yeah, I got a lot of systems as a kid, and I think that's another reason. This like when the 32X came out, that was like $150 for something that was an add-on. It was supposed to be its own original console, and then it's halfway through development, they decided to make it an add-on. And I heard there was a rumor that it messed up regular Sega Genesis games.
Oh wow!
So
like the Xbox 360 with its early days, where it scratches up the 360 disc games. Because what happened was that with I know I keep mentioning him again, Kevin. I was at his house one day, and he already realized it a few minutes after the fact, but it's like I kind of scratched his Halo 3 disc while inside the console to see what it looks like and all while still running. And I was stupid me. It was scratched like and I'm like, whoa. So Kevin is like, dude, what you do? I'm like, what? I just hear scratches like I not scratch the hair like So you scratched the disc. And I was like, uh-oh. It had this big round thing etched into itself. It was still workable. You still worked the damn thing, but it was he had the either the white or the black Xbox system, Xbox 360. So this is back in 2008 when I had my tax return. I had like $300, $400, maybe $500 to spend, and I went over to his house to buy pizza and hang out and listen to music on my iPod and all. So that was good times back then.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
I know, that was the pass.
No, I don't mind these stories. I just remember, when I was friends with him, there were good times too. But it's kind of like with how the friendship turned out, seeing what kind of friend or seeing what kind of person he really is.
I understand.
It leaves a sour taste in my mouth when I think about him.
As we get older, we men become more cynical. So it happens.
Yeah.
It And it depends on how much, though. Some men will have little more, some will have a little less. Some will have extremely amounts of, ego and cynicism and shit like that. So it happens.
Yeah. But the thing is, also, since you bring up the 360, let's talk about that. I think what happened is like the laser that it used to read the disc. I think that burned. I think that was scratching disc itself.
Really?
Yeah. Same thing happens like with the PS2. I used to watch DVDs in there, and I can't watch some DVDs because they're scratched, and it's like, wait a minute, this was never out of its case. Except for when it was in the PS2.
Did you move around the Xbox 360 like I did with Kevin's console?
Well, my Xbox 360 doesn't read disc at all anymore.
Okay.
I think there's like a lot of dust in the system, and there's two things that might be causing it. Either there's a lot of dust in the system, which is blocking the light that reads the disc, so it can't read the disc because of all the dust, or that light burned out.
Or
now, if it's a lot of dust, I don't want to strip the screws, but I could ask my cousin to like unscrew it. Maybe unscrew the top, shake out the dust, or do that to the bottom, shake out the dust, and maybe it'll work again.
Okay.
But if it's the light, I'd be better off probably buying a new or refurbished Xbox 360.
I see.
Yeah, so, but I think, the Xbox and PS3 also had problems. I mean, you had the red ring of death, PlayStation 3 had the yellow light of death, and, now discs are more protected. You don't have to worry about discs being scratched just by overuse. But that's not the way it was just, 10 years ago?
Oh, yeah. But we still have problems with the Xbox 360, specifically with me. With my issue, had to get two new Xboxes or two new repairs, and the first one was free, so that's a good thing. But then after that, it's like I had to pay $50 there. Then for the Xbox One, after this first year, not even a year, I had to get a replacement for that or a new repair of some sort. That cost $150 to $125. I was like, wow, they really do want to make sure that you keep spending after buying the Xbox. But thank goodness I got the first Xbox One for my mom. My first Xbox One was for my mom, so for Christmas of 2014. So I got the Assassin's Creed bundle with Unity and Black.
I'm lucky. My Xbox 360. I've had it since I think my mom got it for me for Christmas, like 2006, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
No, it was 2008. That's right, because I was working at M&M Chimney at the time. It was 2008, and until recently, like after I moved here, I never had problems with it. In New York, it worked all the time.
Now where you live, it's all facilities that have problems.
But it didn't start until it didn't have problems right away.
Okay.
It just all of a sudden, over time, got harder and harder to play games on the 360.
If it's digital, you download digital content on that 360 that you have?
Huh?
Are you able to download digital content onto that 360 you have right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So is that total waste?
I could download, but I just downloaded to my Xbox One, for convenience.
Yeah, Xbox One's much better at digital content holding, so maybe it isn't the best, but it's something. So,
but also, my Xbox One, which I got, I think 2015 from my mom for Christmas, that's been working without any problems. Mm-hmm. It's so I guess I've been lucky more times than I haven't. Anyway, moving on. Let's see, Grand Theft Auto 4. Let's talk about another horrible game, Battlefield 2042.
The beta was horrible. It wasn't too glitchy. It's like, I didn't know what it was doing. As any Battlefield game I've been at since Battlefield 4, I was like, what is this? Like, I'm on Battlefield 4 one time, last year when I bought it for $6, $12 with altogether with Titanfall 2. So I played Battlefield 4 for first 10 minutes. And I was like, what am I doing this game again? And it shows the details of the player. It showed the labeling. Everything else was cool. But I just didn't know how to, like, it was too much for me to soak in, to absorb. But with Battlefield 4 2042, it was a complete loss. No labeling, all these customizations I've never heard of, and with no labeling on it. You had to show names on these things, like the silencer, or the rocket launcher, or the grenade launcher attachment and stuff like that. It's kind of like, they don't show enough of that sort. Then with the Ackman, who I responded to about the matter, with the Halo Infinite, he's been on for a few years talking about Halo and Battlefield and stuff. He actually had problems with showing glitches, and the elevator is not working, or the elevator shows that you're in the elevator, it moves down, and everyone's going up. You know, what's going on here? Now, I'm in a bizarro world when I saw those glitches from him. They didn't have that problem as much, but the layout is just too, like, without no story behind the matter, it just doesn't seem like a Battlefield, you know?
And I'm not too sure. Didn't Battlefield 2042 get like a score of 0.9?
0.9 for the Metacritic, or for IGN or some other site, and they're like something like almost like 1 or 2 out of 10 for the user score.
You know when it's a low score and the users and Metacritic both agree?
Yes.
That it's a bad game.
Yes.
Because usually they never agree.
If Rotten Tomatoes is like that often with the movies, and if you agree once in a while, it's like that with games with Metacritic and the fans of IGN's public score or whatever. They used to have the IGN where you can score each and every game that comes out back in, what was it, 2009 when I did this last time. I actually posted a review of Power Stone, and I did like a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for gameplay, 8 out of 10 for music, and 9 out of 10 for action and all. All of a sudden, it's like, you know, it's gone. They got rid of all that. Now it's like this different system what IGN does. It's kind of weird, but yeah, we can agree upon that. Both IGN, Rotten Tomatoes, whoever make these big numbers out there. So, to us users, you know, us gamers.
Yeah. So, so if you didn't pick up Battlefield 2042 yet, I would not suggest you do.
Wait until it's for $5 on sale 5 years from now. Like, and with Battlefield 4, like, Battlefield 4 was $6, but how many years later? 2010, 2020, 2019. So, I was like, why not?
Because I'd rather spend that $5 on a cheeseburger after Joe Biden's inflation.
More like fucking $10 in some places.
Yeah.
Shit. But $10, I might as well go to the cheapest of the cheap Chinese restaurant and get myself a chicken wing, half a chicken dinner with fried rice and an egg roll, and I'm good. Which I had earlier, something like that. I had a poo-poo platter, so.
Yeah, so I guess so. You know, we knew that game was going to be bad when the trailer couldn't even hide the flaws in it, and it turned out to be a disaster, like we knew it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, unlike something like, say, Call of Duty, Battlefield doesn't really have that many good games in its lineup. I mean, Battlefield 3 was okay. Battlefield 1 I played on the Xbox One. I enjoyed it. Like I said, Battlefield Bad Company. Was it Bad Company?
I have a free copy of it's called Games Would Go Free at one point of Battlefield Bad Company 1. It's pretty good. There's still people playing it online. But the story mode is okay. It's not too much of a story at the same time it is, because it talks about the co-opting of other soldiers. You gotta bypass this bridge. You gotta blow up this anti-tank or anti-carrier, whatever it's called, anti-air cannon, whatever it's called. So, you know, it's all right. But as it got after that, it was got much better. Battlefield Bad Company 2, I heard, was good. Then Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 tipped it off greatly with the Xbox One launch, if I recall correctly. So, yeah, it was getting better up until Battlefield 5, and then that's when it went down, down, down.
and now it's doing as well as Fallout.
The Fallout 76, yeah. I'll pay $1 for that game. Literally. If I never want to play that game. It was on the Game Pass.
You have to pay me $1 to take that game.
I mean,
and then I'd still sell it as fast as I could.
I mean, there should be a Game Pass availability for Fallout 76. So that's
if it's not on Game Pass, whatever company made it that has their own club probably would let you play it for free.
EA membership.
I don't know who made. I don't remember who made Fallout.
Because it's Bethesda made Fallout, if I recall correctly. So
okay, so if it's Bethesda, it might be on Game Pass, if anything, because Microsoft owns Bethesda.
Last time I checked, it was like now available on the Game Pass. Fallout 76.
Yeah. So if you have Game Pass and you wanna make yourself have a horrible night, play Fallout 76.
Oh yeah, especially after a long day's of work. If you work like 16 hours, get that in. Because I know one thing certain, from my experience, even though it's opposite of Battlefield 2042 or of Battlefield 5, with Halo 3, the night that I bought that Xbox after a hard day's of work, the night of that, I was like, yes, I cannot wait to play this game. I was like 20 years old. I was like, yes. And I was screaming. I was like, die, beat down, Paul. Now it's like 20 years later, 10 years later, it's like, yeah, it's all right. But now Halo Infinite kind of like, it's okay. It's an okay game. I'm sorry about switching subjects here, but in comparison to that, I'd rather play Halo Infinite over both Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 2042. That's how bad it is.
And some games make you fall asleep while you're holding the controller.
Yes! Halo 5, when I was in the campaign, to those who are my longtime followers, as early as 2015 of December, I did a recorded of Halo 5 campaign. The third mission of that night that I did the mission on, I was so tired. I was just got out of school for the day. Got home around like about 12 midnight, 11:30 at night. All of a sudden, I'm playing this game. Within like 10, 15 minutes of the game playing, of the 40 minutes, I started snoring. I was like, oh shit! Let me start playing again. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let's do this. It was like every 5 minutes. I was so tired. I was like, come on, is this still going on? I mean, it was okay. The campaign with Master Chief, it's all right. Overall, once it got onto luck and all that stuff, it's like, yeah, come on, let's go. Where's Cortana?
One moment, I just want to get something to drink before we continue.
Yeah, sure. I'll talk more. So basically, Halo 5 was good at first. Yes, people, it was that good, but then all of a sudden, as I got older, 5 years later, it's like I meet people online. They're saying that, oh, you must don't play this game, Charles. Halo 5 sucks. And I was like, yeah. And every day I'm talking to these people online, they start telling me like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that with Halo 5, and don't play this anymore. And then one thing is another. Like the last couple of years, I was like, screw Halo 5. I'm waiting for the next. We're going back to Master Chief Collection, and we're waiting for the next Halo game to come out.
All right. So you ready to go to the next subject?
Indeed. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. This is a new one. I just discovered this last night. There's a game on the Nintendo Switch shop called Membrane.
Okay.
The list price is $250.
Is it a system of a system?
No, it's a game, and it looks like a really simple one where you can bend the environment, break the environment. Kind of reminds me of that new Kirby game with the rainbows.
Kirby with the
so
rainbows.
Like you can get up hills that are too high to jump.
Okay.
One level takes place inside a person, which I think is why it's called Membrane. You could actually go inside a person, and like be in the body and discover, look in the brain and everything. What in the world makes anyone think that's worth $250?
What is it? Is there like a legendary edition behind that, man, of 250?
Nope.
You don't get like a statue. You don't get like a car,
That's
toy
the-
car. That is, you know.
That's the price of the digital edition.
Are you sure it's $250? That $25? Is it $2.50?
Positive.
You sure it's not for $2.50 for that quality?
Positive.
I hope you're right, James. This is ridiculous. Sounds ridiculous. It sounds very weird of you to say $250 for that.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it then.
Can you screen share? I was gonna screen share it. Can I do that?
Yeah. I think screen share on Discord didn't work with didn't work with Total Extreme Wrestling, but when my internet decides to respond, I'll see if I can share the screen with through Discord.
Okay. Before I continue, open up a new window first. Hold on a second, guys. It's interesting. Share screen. I should have a Google. There it is. Wait, before I open it though, check anything personal. Let's see here. Open this one up. I'm just making sure I don't have any personal information that to show. I should have thought about this earlier, guys. Sorry about that. Alright, no, nothing to show that's personal, nothing over your stuff being personal, James, Triple J. So, here we go in 3, 2, 1, and go. Alright, and go. Alright, what's the call again? The game?
It's the game is called Membrane for the Nintendo Switch eShop.
Say one. Oh, it came out in 2018.
Yep.
Hey.
I have it. I have the article.
Membrane review, 5 minutes long.
No. You go. I'll put it in the chat on Discord.
Sure.
The link.
Yeah, sure. Copy that link. Random, this $10. Okay, I agree with the that stuff. Random, this $10 Nintendo Switch eShop game has suddenly shot up to a whopping $250.
Told you.
And it's from the United Kingdom, of all places. Membrane, it's a physics-based puzzle platformer. So it's like Catherine, but with the human body, not sexual stuff, of course. So is there a hot chick in the game or something?
Nope.
No Pamela Anderson.
No
No
distinguishing features, really.
Tyra Banks. No Tori Wilson. No, nothing like that. No.
No Pamela Anderson. No Trish Stratus. No Amy Jo Johnson. Nothing.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay, I think I should stop right now. Amazing. See, now you got a record, guys. Unfortunately, I have to. I only record audio. Damn, forgot. I can always record screenshots of it. So.
Yeah, but why would they put it up there? The game is barely worth $10. Who had the genius idea of putting it up for $250?
Crazy.
What's the thought process behind those people? I get it. They're because these are also not first party developers. These are like indie developers, from what I heard.
They're indie. They're not from a major company like that of Atlas or something. No.
Not that I've seen. No. I still got the article. Let's see.
That's crazy right there. sell for $250 and just think that people are gonna buy it with no problem. We're in a pandemic somewhat in some parts of the country. Here in New York City, it's like lockdown everywhere because if you want to go into a movie theater or a venue, arena, Broadway play, you have to have a vaccine passport.
The publisher is Perfect Hat.
Oh man.
They're also the developer of the game. And they put a game on a Nintendo Switch for $250. Now, obviously, anyone has the freedom to sell whatever they want for whatever price they think they can get.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about people scalping apple cloths on eBay not too long ago. But it just seems like... Are you just trying to scam people? Are you just hoping people have money to burn?
Don't get him.
That article I showed you. It said this $10 game jumped up to a whopping $250, but under that title it said, "But why?" That's a good question. That's what I would like to know.
So no, nothing interesting other than the gameplay itself. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
You don't get no what's it called? Cosplay of Lara Croft coming to your door or nothing like that. No.
Nope. And you're not exploring the body of Ali Lauder or Kelly Overton or any other hot actress you can name.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Next, actually, when I saw the game, I did see gameplay. It doesn't even look like I said, the person has no distinguishing features. So you can't even tell if it's a guy or woman because you're inside the body.
Interesting.
So it's like, so it's not. You don't even know if you're exploring a man or woman. And
it could be non-binary, transgender, Apache helicopter.
Yeah, Hey, they get representation. That means the woke crowd will buy absolutely 0 copies.
Oh yeah, they won't buy this for craft. They're not gonna spend $250 on something that's very creative.
They don't have $250.
That's the fucked up part right there. They have no money, but they complain on Twitter. You hate transgender people. You hate non-binaries. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Stop going into these different categories and avenues. Stick with homosexuality and heterosexuality. With transgenderism, transsexuality, whatever, okay, fine. But come on, let's stick it together, people.
Yeah, me and a cousin were talking, this was when I first came down to Georgia. She said that a colleague, someone told her that there were over 200 genders. And basically, my cousin wanted to know what I thought of that. I thought, F that shit. I said, no, there's 2 genders. You're male or you're female. Unless you're cousin It from the Addams Family, you fit into one of those categories. You either got a sausage in your pants or a biscuit.
Biscuit. What is it, Popeyes?
I mean, hey, if you want to change the cosmetic,
wow, you're right.
If you want to get cosmetic surgery to look like the other gender, that's fine. But, like, especially in sports, you still should play the gender you were, that you were born as.
Well, when it comes to a case like Chris Chan, you heard of Chris Chan before, right? Triple J?
Mm-mm.
So Chris Chandler for many years, way before YouTube, most likely. I never heard of him before YouTube because I was too young and I didn't have the access fully. So by 2008, I heard of this guy named Chris Chan doing some crazy shit on the internet and stuff. So as time goes along, he was starting to change his gender. He was having sex with his mother, or about to have sex with his mother. I know it sounds weird, all, but yeah, and he turned into being a woman on record with his birth certificate. So since now he's been in jail for doing some pedophile stuff, whatever. So he's assigning. I'm sorry if it sounds if I'm making that if it's wrong in my information, but it was something to do with this having sex with his mother, and as not consensual, obviously, and very demoralizing at the same time, also illegal in that state that he's living. He's basically going to an all-female jail because he's female himself on record. So he's going to have a blast in there.
And see, that's wrong because no matter, I don't care what cosmetic surgeon you get. I don't care what cosmetic surgery you get. It's all cosmetic. If you're born a man and you change to a woman, you're still going to build muscle like a man will. Mm-hmm. You're still going to develop. Your insides are still going to develop like a man would. You still get as strong as a man can. I mean, look at I think her name or his name is Farron Fox in UFC. He was 0-8 in the men's division, so he got a sex change and started fighting women. And now all his fights, I'm going to take a line from Lord of Patriarchy, all his fights look like domestic abuse. Because he's a guy that is a woman on the outside, a man on the inside, and he's beating up other women in the octagon. Just like Tom McDonald, I forget what song it was exactly. I think it was, what was that song? Not Dummies? Brainwashed.
Dummies? Balloons?
No.
Balloons? That's his new song, Balloons.
No, it was before Brainwashed.
White Boy? Or White Noise or something like that?
No, the one Blair White was in.
Blair White?
I think that's her name. Anyway, he had a line in the song called, "Great, let's celebrate some men for beating up some women." Or something like that.
What we call stupid people, most likely. Stupid people or Snow.
I don't know.
Something.
You would think I would know this because I listen to him more than I listen to Eminem nowadays.
Yeah, you listen to him more than me now. Like I listen to him once every few weeks.
Snowflakes. That's what it was.
I said snow. Yeah, I said snow. I said snow something.
You said snow. You didn't say snowflakes.
Oh,
so I didn't hear you correctly.
Snowflakes. Okay.
I'd play the song, but I don't want to get this stream copyrighted.
Well, we can still put on recorded, and it'll just be like, Tom McDonald will just accept it on there. Like he will not copyright claim it on YouTube or BitChute especially. So
what? Play it
if you want to.
Okay.
Can you play it through the computer, not right at the speakers?
I don't know actually. That might be a good point. You might have to play it.
Okay, what's the song called? Snowflakes, right?
Yeah.
Alright. So I got the OBS running, so snow.
Yeah, if you got OBS running, you should go for it.
Snowflakes, Tom McDonald. Sorry for the wait, guys. We're still trying to. We can play it for a few seconds at least. That. Hope you can hear it too.
If you lie to the government, they'll put you in prison. When they lie to all of us, they'll being a politician. You think taking guns away will save our kids from the killings? With your pro-choice, abortion kills way more children. If America's so terrible and racist, it probably isn't.
We might not be able to play this.
Just saying, all the contradictions are embarrassing.
Recorded.
You know who hates America the most?
Okay, I don't hear it.
Trigger warnings used to be on TV for seizures. And now they're everywhere to protect millennials.
But anyway, he had a line in that. He had the point I bring up that song. He had a line in that song like, "Let's celebrate men for beating up some women," and it's like, or beating women. And it's like, yeah, you're allowing these people who have more strength than any other woman to compete in women's sports. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh yeah.
Professional wrestling is different. It's predetermined. That's why you can get away with that. But when it's anything real, basically, there's a reason that you don't see men competing in lingerie football with women. There's a reason you don't see women competing in the NFL.
But but legally speaking, a girl attempted to join the NFL, and it says she's not the first one, by the way, but she attempted to join the NFL for what, $250, that entry fee to go into the NFL as a free agent. So I was like, okay, you just kick the ball, and she was a horrible kicker. She didn't kick nothing really much, no problems, but they put it on TV news many years ago, and she tried to join some NFL team, and she didn't make it. She was that horrible of a player. So
yeah, I mean, I'm all for men should have the same things as women, the same opportunities and everything, but they should not be facing each other. If they want to face each other in chess, that's fine. If they want to, but in anything that would be like a physical competition, no, they need their own league. And transgender people, if they want to compete in, contact sports or whatever, they should compete in the gender that they were born as.
It's just like anytime there was an emergency situation, like if let's say, for example, like a ship went down, and there's like how many X amount of men to X amount of women and children. The women and children go first to exit onto the boats first, and then the men later on. That's what happened with the Titanic back in the early 1900s, 1914, I think it was, before World War II started. World War I started, excuse me. Before World War I started. And it was like, the women and children first, women and children. Because in the movie Titanic showed that. And I actually read up on that research on Titanic, and it's like, it's actually real. So it's like, that's why there's differences between men and women, and especially between a female child and a male child. But usually between the female child and the male child, their strength is just as equal in maybe not in power, but like the potential is still there. Like they still like kind of like, that's why they're with the woman in a sense, in my perspective, what I learned. So
yeah, so we kind of went off in a tangent. I think we talked enough about membranes, so let's.
It was $250. Who wants to spend that?
Let's go back to something we did talk about. Resident Evil, the movie is out. Welcome. Did you hear that Resident Evil, the reboot movie, came out?
Already?
Yep.
I didn't hear nothing about that. Not a damn thing.
IGN released. It's called Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City.
I heard about that. Yes.
And it's. I saw IGN's. I saw the first half of IGN's review. Since my writing job wasn't having much work, I went back to the caption website that I used to work for, typing out captions, and I came across IGN's review of Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. They said that the actors are fine. The story is the first two Resident Evils. You got Jill, Chris, and Wesker doing what they did in Resident Evil 1. Leon and Claire at the same time are trying to escape Raccoon City. But they said Leon is still a rookie, like he was in Resident Evil 2. And one thing I noticed, and I was concerned about this, the actresses that play Claire and Jill, they look like on screen they looked so similar that you could interchange them and you wouldn't even know. And it's just and also the person who reviewed it on behalf of IGN said that like the third act was weak, so like the end of the movie wasn't that good.
Okay.
Do you have any interest in seeing this movie or
November 24th? Oh, maybe I could see it in theaters next 2 weeks from now, because it's coming out this Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving.
Oh, so IGN got it like an early viewing.
Yeah. So it's gonna most likely suck balls at the end, but throughout most of the film, it's going to look good, in my perspective, just from looking at the content. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, and it shows that there's no review on publicly, in a sense. It's marketing is okay. They mentioned it as early as October 2021, the Halloween month or the Halloween week, we want to call it. After that, it was dead, in my perspective. I didn't hear nothing on my phone, no notifications, no on my internet, Google Chrome, you name it. The only time I heard about Resident Evil was during late October. After that, I never heard from them since. And none of the YouTubers I heard as of last week didn't mention it either. So,
yeah, keep in mind, IGN. Keep in mind, the website that I work for was, they were getting what I do on that website. I can caption any video I choose, as long as I'm the first one to choose it. Mm-hmm. It's first come, first serve. If you give it up, someone else can claim it, and if they do a good job, they get the money for that video. But the thing is, so that review for IGN might not even be out yet, now that I think about it, because I just saw the first half of the video, I think Thursday night? Yeah, Thursday night. So, but for me, I'm not going to be interested unless they get to Resident Evil 7 and 8.
Alright.
In the movies. I was really disappointed with 6 in the Mila Jovovich series.
Final chapter.
Yeah, the final chapter. Retribution was alright because it had Ada and Leon. It had that basketball player also from Afterlife. But I was disappointed with the final one in the final chapter. Mm-hmm. And I'm honestly having negative opinions about this one just because it just seems like it's maybe a budget version of these movies now.
It's a B movie at best, I heard.
Yeah. The actors and actresses, nothing against them. We went over them on that IGN Africa page. We didn't recognize any of them. And I even said, look at the actress for Claire, look at the actress for Jill and the in-game model. They're comparing it to the new Resident Evil 2, the new Resident Evil 3. Not their original models in the original games. And I heard it's good, but, I guess I'll wait for public opinion before. But, I don't even have, except for Valdosta, which is like a long car ride, I don't have any movie theaters near me, so I would probably have to get it on DVD when it came out, or Blu-ray.
Or can you get Netflix or Amazon Instant Video?
I could, but that's money, and money's tight right now, so...
I understand. Maybe I can let you share my Netflix with you, because it should be on Netflix later on. If you want to afterwards.
Well, not anytime soon. It's going to be. I think it would be out of theaters before it went on Netflix.
Yeah, I said after when it comes on in the movie theaters, within 6 months at most, it should be out on Netflix, because they have the Resident Evil miniseries called Resident Evil: The Darkness, and it's about Leon between Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 4. So it's kind of like Resident Evil 3.5 up until right before the events of Leon goes out to save the president's daughter in Resident Evil 4. So it's kind of interesting, that story, because they kind of fill in the gaps, what happened, kind of, if you're a hardcore fan of Resident Evil. Like, I'm a Resident Evil follower, more like than a fan, so...
Is this a movie? Is this a CGI movie? Is it a regular movie? It's
a CGI miniseries. It has like 4 parts to it so far. And it should come out further, whatever situation is after that.
I wish they had done something like that. Get the actors and actresses back, the original ones, for whichever ones you need anyway. And they should do stuff like that, fill in the gaps between different movies and stuff like that. I'd be interested in seeing that.
So far, there's only 4 episodes to Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. It came out 2021, and it's about now at the Angel Henderson Claire discovers a child of reminiscent of Atlantic City. Leon makes his way to the White House to know where it's on the path. So it's kind of like, I said, it's between Resident Evil 3 and 4, in a sense. There's also Resident Evil, the series, live-action series as well. Last time I checked. It was that horrible, too.
Okay. Yeah, so, well, I got the 6 Resident Evil movies on Blu-rays that I could watch anytime I want.
Yeah, the Resident Evil live-action series is not going to come out until, like, sometime in the future. We're not sure yet. It's still pending.
Yeah. So, it's just kind of, you know that saying when they say you try to recreate something, it's never as good as it was when it first came out?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? That's the feeling I have with this movie. And with these new series, because I mean, that's just the feeling I have.
Oh yeah.
And I think one problem is the original actors, because take Mila Jovovich, who played Alice, she was in 6 movies.
Yes, indeed.
Whether or not you liked her, it's kind of weird watching Resident Evil movie that's live action without her now.
It's very different.
So, and I think the same was for the other characters.
It's like in the CGI version, there was this actor since Resident Evil 4. His name is Paul Mercer or Paul something. He's been in the action of voice actor for Leon S. Kennedy for over a decade and a half now, since Resident Evil 4. So it's like, crazy. Like it's a mess. And all of a sudden, they have this, like I said, this B movie coming out next week at Thanksgiving. It's like, nah, I'm not interested, because that's not the same. It's not the same feeling that you get from these actors and so forth. And I guarantee you guys, you too, James, guys, get the trilogy of the CGIs, Degeneration, Damnation, and Vendetta. I have to say Vendetta is the best one in the story because it brings back Rebecca Chambers. To those who are hardcore followers and fans of the game, you guys be amazed by all these good shit in the trilogy. That's how good the Resident Evil was back then. Now, for the last couple of years, it's like, whoever these makers are, with lots of money, they don't care about it. They just throw cash into it and make some profit for later use. They're not Resident Evil fans. They're not Resident Evil followers. They don't care about horror movies as much. They care about this money. And it's tiresome. Yes, I understand we all want money. Business is business. But if you're a person who's been in the culture for how many years of this Resident Evil culture, you should know by now that not everyone is not going to agree upon your greedy, dastardly ways. Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, since we're talking about the Resident Evil movies, the Mila Jovovich series, I'm wondering how many people are out there that didn't like it at first, that took a liking to it, after Apocalypse, Extinction, Afterlife, which in my opinion were the 3 best. How many people took those movies and, they said, okay, this one wasn't so bad. My cousin hated the first and last, but he liked, I think, Extinction the best. Okay. Either Extinction or Afterlife. And he said, I'm wondering, how many people that gave these movies in the middle a chance can go back to watching something Resident Evil-wise, but with completely different actors, and not be like, damn, I wish I was watching, wish they were watching, a movie that they finally, what's the word I'm looking for? That they finally went from hating to kind of liking.
Interesting.
And then you're supposed to watch it with all different actors and a whole different, and not even a different storyline. Apocalypse was about get out of Raccoon City before it blows up, so...
if you expect from a fan-made movie to be disorderly or unorganized with the story lore, and as well as with different actors altogether, because they're new at this stuff, and they're acting and filming and things of that matter. But, there's this one particular person, I forgot their names, but I saved it on my iPod. I kind of copied and pasted on from YouTube and all. I will admit that. Piracy, quote unquote. There's this video lasting for an hour 15 called Resident Evil umbrella, the movie. Just type in Resident Evil family movie, you'll see one of them from like 2007. And they're good at what they do with the Resident Evil, trying to do the zombies and stuff like that, and the Tyranno. Unfortunately, they couldn't get a real bazooka or a replica bazooka to do it, but it's better. It's just better enough than what they had in stock. So it's pretty funny, quirky, cheesy, but it's good. You know, if you're in Resident Evil lore and seen it for many decades, like I have, and hopefully you, Rapper JJ, but you know, it's all right. So
I might look for it.
I wish I know the exact title. I have to look it up on my iPod first and see if it's still there.
Well, if I'm pretty sure if it's still there, I'll probably find it in a Google search.
Because I can't remember the actual on the YouTube search engine, so it's kind of hard to find it exactly. So if I look for it right now, okay, it's called. I had to look up. Okay, it's called it's actually called Rabtoons, Rabtones, Resident Evil movie 2007 college project. Because this is before they started doing their own animations of Resident Evil. They're pretty good. They're pretty funny at times too.
All right, maybe I'll check it out after tonight's podcast.
Yeah, it's a live action. It's a live action movie, but most of the time, most of the channel, as of late, especially the last 5 years at least.
Hold on.
They've been doing like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
They've been doing like the last 5 years on the on the recordings and also of their animation. So they've been focused on animation of Resident Evil. Pretty interesting stuff. So.
My mom needs my help. I'll be back like in 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, sure. In the meantime, I'll talk. So, there's Resident Evil. So, Resident Evil basically is a lore to those who are not aware of that. It was the start of Spencer and later on Wesker and Birkin. They teamed together in Resident Evil 0. From what I gathered from that gameplay, I should be able to get for Game Pass. Play that sometime with you guys sometime next month when I get more money. So this game of Resident Evil 0 that's kind of started it all in a sense, but it's way beforehand. Resident Evil 0, those the start of Spencer and the Alfred, the Alfred family teaming together to make this project called the T-Virus. And over the years, they contemplated, developed it, they matured it, they did trials and errors on to get this T-Virus and stuff. One leads to another. You know, it started to affect the mansion in the outskirts of Raccoon City, and then the Raccoon City Police Department's special forces. One is called the Alpha Team, the other is Bravo. So the Bravo team went in at first to check out what the hell's going on in that mansion, or the other part of this outskirts of a different mansion altogether. Because Rebecca Chambers was with the Bravo team, so she gathered and talked to Chris with the Alpha team later on in the Resident Evil 1 game. So basically, they all came together. Wesker, Jill, Barry Burton, Rebecca Chambers comes in and out until the end of the movie as well. So it's kind of interesting in what's going on with the lore at first. Then all of a sudden, once they just sort of told what happened at the end of Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2 came to be and starts to do things similar with the matter. This time with a citywide matter. So it's kind of interesting. So, you know. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. And all of a sudden, there was this nuclear explosion in Resident Evil 3, where it's like, you know, kind of weird. It's like, you know, sorry guys if we're creating dead air right now. It's just that we're waiting for my friend Triple J to come back from whatever he's doing with this, situation at home. He'll be back momentarily. You know, in the meantime, we could talk more about the phone I bought. If you guys can watch me on screen, I hope you can. But basically, I bought a smartphone called the Moto E6. It is a phone that we can download and record and stuff like that. Let me see if I can pop it up on the screen for you guys. So, to those who can see it on the good old live stream on Twitch, this is the phone I bought earlier this week. Came in the mail within a couple of days. Not bad, right? And it's called the Moto E6 by Motorola. I've been a fan of Motorola. Not a fan, but I had no choice but to use Motorola these past several years easily because I couldn't afford smartphone. I couldn't afford the other brands like that, like the Android, the actual Android brand itself, as well as the T-Mobile brands, the Sprint brands, things that matter. So it's kind of hard at first. So to get them, especially the iPhone 13 though, man, the iPhone 13 looks beautiful. Even though it's all about martial law and divide and control, divide and conquer, it's still a good phone to make movies on. At least that. I know everyone knows that as a whole, we'll be in watch and everything else. It's the end of the world, no. Then all of a sudden, I still decided just to stick with something cheap. Not too cheap, but just enough to afford on. And the Moto E6 basically comes with good specs, 4G LTE, Wi-Fi, display of PPI 296, 505 inches, HD. Good though, 60 gigabyte, 2 gigabyte RAM. I think you got a 32 gigabyte version. Last time I checked, because it came with it. Comes with 13 megapixels with a frame rate of frames 2.0, I think it's called. Front camera is 5 megapixels, so that's not bad. Yeah, not bad at all, guys, right? Good price is $24.99 on sale, one-time payment. Original price was $60, so I got a pre-Black Friday sale. So it's kind of interesting, right? Can't complain. And I'm still learning the features. It's my second smartphone ever, but it's all right. Can't complain. It's not the best cell phone, but I recommend getting it if you need something to speak on, a good quality. If you try to look for music-related stuff on it, you can. Good selection of music you download from certain apps, and as well as the YouTube program itself. So, no big deal, right? So, yeah. And try to take my sweet time understanding about this matter at hand, because I still have the phone right here as we speak. So, I got my good old, anime wallpaper on here, and Google Chrome, and the contacts are still safe. You can transfer, in today's technology, you can actually transfer the Google programming of the Google Chrome and all that stuff to your phone from your old phone. You don't have to do that Android tapping or whatever they do to share pictures and stuff like that. That's so high tech. Not many people can afford that. And it's very rare these days, and things that matter. So yeah, got the Android ringtone. Got the Xbox app, the Ring app. I just got my own protection for Ring related matters and stuff. So yeah, interesting, right? So yeah. Turn off the web browser here. Yeah, in the meantime, James, you still there? Triple J?
Yeah, I'm here.
Up until the last couple of minutes, I've been talking about my phone, the Motorola E6. This is a new phone. I'm my second ever phone to start using it on record. And beforehand, I was using the iPhone, but the I believe it's called something regarding with the Android. Yes. As you can tell, I just forgot about that particular phone itself. My first ever smartphone. So it's called E something as well. So
okay.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about that later, but I guess you covered that now.
Yeah, that was a good fill-in, of course. So up until 2 or 3 minutes ago, I was talking about the phone. So, and I finished up with the Resident Evil review as well. But if you want to go back to the Resident Evil movie review or preview,
no, I'm pretty much done with the Resident Evil movie. I'm ready to move on.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thanks very much, guys. I appreciate it. Live. This is live, so the edit can happen.
Right. Hold on. Okay. Next. Okay, we only got a couple more subjects. Did you ever play an arcade game called WWF WrestleFest?
Never heard of that. WrestleFest.
Okay, it was an arcade game in the actual arcades, and it came out in 1990. But it was like 12 wrestlers. The ones I remember off the top of my head was Hulk Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter, Legion of Doom, I think, was in there. Smash and Crush of Demolition were there. Axe wasn't for some reason. Earthquake was in there as a single superstar. And they had 2 modes. I think they had like a Royal Rumble mode and like a tag team mode where the first stage would be Saturday night's main event. Mm-hmm. And it was basically a wrestling arcade game. You either try to win the Rumble or you try to win a series of tag team matches. Me and my cousin actually played it in arcades one time. He picked Hulk Hogan immediately, which means I couldn't. So I picked Sergeant Slaughter. We did the Royal Rumble mode, and we got eliminated immediately and in 5 seconds of each other. Well, anyway, WrestleFest. If you look about it on YouTube, it's kind of like a royal game. It's a wrestling game that a lot of people have respect for, despite it being a wrestling arcade game, never coming to home consoles. But people still look at it with admiration.
Right.
It's like a good memory if they ever experienced WrestleFest. If they didn't experience it, boy, did they miss out.
Oh yeah.
Well, there was a fan-made crossover and a canceled sequel, and that's what I want to talk about. First, the fan-made crossover. They crossed over WWF WrestleFest with Double Dragon, and what you could do basically, instead of picking Billy and Jimmy, you could pick like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, or any of the other wrestlers in the game, and beat up the gang in Double Dragon. And you could do actual wrestling moves with the wrestlers. There was also another mode where I think they said Andre the Giant, but no, he was in the title picture in 87, 88, so it wasn't too much of a jump. But Andre is leading a few wrestlers along with the gang, so you have to pick either a Double Dragon character or one of the good guys like Hogan, Boss Man, Slaughter, or somebody, and basically fight through the gang to get to Andre the Giant, who's the final boss.
Alright.
This is a fan-made game.
Oh wow.
They did try making a WWF beat-em-up game, which was awful. On Game Boy Color, called WWF Betrayal. We can talk about that if you want after this. But the thing is, it's amazing how people took the wrestling models from WrestleFest, because they're in the arcade, they're these jacked up, muscular guys, but they look like they fit right in with the Double Dragon backgrounds that they crossed over into. So they did that. Also, there was a sequel. This might have been right after WWE All Stars. There was supposed to be an arcade game called WrestleFest 2. It was going to have the current day stars like CM Punk, Sheamus, Del Rio, and it was going to have guys like Hogan, Macho Man, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and it was supposed to come out for all the systems: PS3, Xbox 360,
PC.
Yeah. Well, it got canceled from all those systems. It only came out on phones. And you can't even get the game on the phone anymore.
I shut it down, the app, or the access to that.
Yeah, well, THQ is the one who made it, and this was when THQ was hemorrhaging money.
But it was in its prime, these wrestling games. SmackDown vs. Raw, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, 2007, 2008 and beyond, I'm not sure. But after that, 2010...
Yeah, I enjoyed the games, except for... There was... 2 of those games I didn't enjoy. SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, but I got the PS2 port, and it was glitchy, it didn't work right, and everyone blamed me because they're like, Xbox 360's out, PS3's out, why'd you get it for PS2? And then WWE 13 came out, after SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 and 2011, they changed it to WWE, because SmackDown wasn't fighting Raw anymore on TV, so they just made it WWE. WWE 12 came out, WWE 13 came out at the end of 2012. At the beginning of 2013, THQ had to file for bankruptcy. which is why WWE13 is still a mess to this day. And this game looks like it came out after All-Stars. All-Stars came out in March of 2011. And it looks like this would have been the sequel to All-Stars, but it's just a really hard game to control, even if you do have it on your phone. And there was supposed to be a lot of DLC. I don't know if the DLC was ever released.
Right.
Because since the game couldn't be supported because of THQ's money troubles, I don't even think I think the only DLC that came out was the DLC that was ready to go since day one.
Let's see.
And and now you can't even get the game on phones or iPad if you wanted it.
That sucks.
And it was arcade style, just like WWE All-Stars was. But like I said, when WWE 13 came out at the end of 2012, THQ was... I don't know how they got in so much money trouble, but they ended up having to sell the company and sell off their licenses. And then 2K got WWE license. So, what do you think about... Did you ever play any arcade wrestling games at all?
I don't recall correctly. Maybe I played the Xbox game called WF Raw, but that was at GameStop for about a few minutes at part of its demonstration station.
I played that at my house one time.
Yes. So
yeah, that was just a bad game in general.
It's okay to play for a few minutes. After that, it's like there was just only a single match, tag team match I heard, and that was it. And I was like, wow, that's it. and the roster was all right. It wasn't too much, but
Well, the thing I liked about the roster had people like Justin Credible, X-Pac.
Oh yeah.
People that didn't make every single game. But even guys like Triple H and Rob Van Dam looked ridiculous. One time I was playing WWF Raw for Xbox on stream, and I'm like, look what they did to Triple H. And a spectator goes, an undefined pile of muscle and mass. That's what he described Triple H's model as. And then Stone Cold came out, he goes, a more pale, undefined pile of muscle and mass. So the graphics were not that good. Raw for the Xbox is really bad. I've never heard anyone defend it. But yeah, the arcade games, on the other hand, WrestleMania, the arcade game, is still great. Out for a while. WWF In Your House was ridiculous. And there was another one, I think. Was that it? Oh, Royal Rumble. But Royal Rumble started out as an arcade game on the Dreamcast.
Oh, okay.
But if you go to the Nathan's in Oceanside, I don't know if Nathan's is still there, but if they still have their arcade machines,
right?
WWF Royal Rumble, the arcade cabinet, is the first arcade cabinet you'll see when you enter the game room from the restaurant. I've seen gameplay of it on the arcade cabinet. It looks exactly the same on the arcade cabinet and Dreamcast.
Okay.
People hated it because it was a Royal Rumble game with 21 wrestlers.
Right.
And then we got WWE All-Stars, and All-Stars seems to be the last arcade game that was good. Also, would you ever want to play a beat-em-up game that featured WWE wrestlers?
I wouldn't mind buying it for a few dollars. No, I never expect to see WWF go into the beat-em-up in the streets. Literally like Street Fighter and stuff like that. That's very not uncanny or illegal or immoral or just out of code. It's just that it doesn't fit well with the wrestling altogether. So.
Right.
You can't, it's still part of wrestling. It's still part of Street Fighter. You can wrestle in the streets literally, but it's just that it's been more organized over the decades. And it's not the same exactly. So,
Okay. All right, so that was that, and the last thing since you talked about your cell phone already, you wanted to talk about this YouTube getting rid of dislikes.
Indeed.
I'll let you start since you brought this up.
So I talked about it for 5 minutes on my previous most recent video as of this recording, and I basically talked that that the dislike button is kind of like a good arbitration into how good the video is. Is it a bad video? Is it a good video? Is it horribly offensive or raunchy, whatever, or it's just plain boring? And all that factors in with the dislike button. Now, of course, that publicly right now, as of this record, we still have dislikes and likes. But within a few days to a few weeks, they're going to get rid of it, the dislike button. And after a while, people are going to forward all their disorderly, not conduct, but like their opinion, their negative opinions out on the comment section. They'll say, "Oh, this video sucks, don't watch it. Oh, this video has spam, or it's advertisement, unfriendly, whatever the situation is." So it's it's just making it worse and worse for us to use their site. And I'm very surprised people are not moving on to other websites like Odyssey, Rumble. Dailymotion is starting to act like YouTube, so forget about them for now. VMO, I guess you go to them maybe. There's also what's it called? Vid.me it died like 2 or 3, 4 years ago, so no more.
Forget BitChute.
And BitChute, yes, I'm on BitChute as well, talking about the matter. So people have to learn that it's time to move on. YouTube's going to go down under. Not saying I'm not going to leave altogether YouTube, but that's not my main outlet. Yes, but I have other outlets to go to. BitChute is one of them. I'm growing on that channel, having over 105 subscribers. It took me 2 years to get there, but it's worth it. But with the YouTube, I don't know what happened with my Ackman Dr. Disrespect video, but it's at 5,000 views now, easily. No spamming, no advertisement. Just share once or twice on my Twitter and Facebook. After that, it's just blooming a flower. It's just growing still. Gradually, at this rate, yes. But at the time, the first 2,000 views, it was like that within not even a week. Get 2,000 views. How's that happen? People liked the damn video. They kept pressing that like button. Yes, there's a couple of dislikes I have, but in the end, it's a good video. But my other videos from like my main channel, let's say I had the mass shooting. I talk about mass shooters, like the reason why mass shooters are doing what they're doing at the time, back in 2016. You can still look this up. It's like 4 or 5 years, 6 years ago. I uploaded this to YouTube. It had over 11 dislikes and 0 likes. They don't people as a bad video or offensive video, even at that. Oh, this guy talks too much bullshit, or he talks too much about crime and horridities and whatever. It's horrid and whatever people are saying behind the scenes or indirectly to me, whatever. But whatever, right? So I figure my shtick, excuse me. And I realized that gaming have to stick with for the time being. And I should have thought about that when I was younger, but it's too late now. The damage is done. I know that my past is still on the internet. Not all my past, but the ones that make talk about politics, whatever. Yes, but other than that, I try to stick with games as much as possible, and you eventually get a couple of likes here and there, and people will realize that this video is not that bad. And the more likes, the better. The more dislikes, the worse it is. So now it's gonna go down under now. YouTube. Keep it up, YouTube. Yeah. Get rid of the views. You get rid of views. You get rid of the like button. You gotta get rid of the comment section, and you get rid of the upload. That's the last thing you're gonna do when your downfall is the final nail in the coffin. Is when you got rid of the upload button. The minute you do that, like Blip TV did, YouTube is gone. YouTube is another MySpace after that. The final nail in the coffin is the upload button. I mark my words. I'm not sure when. Not sure if it's going to get up to that point, but it will eventually. The views... It
will. If Susan Wojcicki has her way, it will.
If she's still the CEO, that is. If she keeps continuing doing this shit.
Yeah. I tried. I feel what you're talking about. I mean, I tried to get people to leave YouTube, like in 2016, 2017. I was like, go to Dailymotion, go to another website, and people, just out of convenience, wanted to stay on YouTube. And I get it. It's the only video sharing site that like has its own app on Xbox, so you don't, watch. It's easier to watch YouTube videos, say like on Xbox, than anything else. But at the same time, Blip.tv, that's what killed Blip.tv. In the early days, anyone could upload anything. And then they had an investor come in, and investor said, unless a person has X number of followers, they're not going to be able to upload any videos. They're not even going to have their own account. If they want to comment on a video, they'll do it through their Facebook. Well, look where Blip.tv is now. It doesn't exist.
They never learn. They never learn.
But so it's just ridiculous because it seems like content creators will venture out and look for other avenues, like Odyssey, Wumble, BitChute, Dailymotion. I wouldn't even write Dailymotion off, but I have a partner account, so that's why I wouldn't write it off for me. But it seems like content viewers, it's like they know YouTube, they just want to stay on YouTube.
Yes. The audience has to learn to move on too, as well, because they're not going to change until the creator changes. Excuse me.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think Susan Wojcicki said, or someone said that's what she wants to do, is basically turn YouTube into another Netflix with YouTube TV. And, you'll still have channels like Fox News and CNN and all the news stations. But as far as people like you and me, we're going to be just viewers only.
The minute they get rid of the upload button, it's over. And that's fine. I can accept that. The moment I finish fighting this battle of information on YouTube specifically is if they got rid of the upload button on that site. And that's it. That's when I'm going to be like, the war is just a stalemate, It's just they may won the battle, but they didn't win the war because of the fact that, I'm still out there growing on BitChute, got a couple of videos on Rumble, got a couple of videos on Odyssey. Maybe I'm not getting much on both Rumble and Odyssey, but eventually I will. So far, I have like a few videos here and there. That's it. So I'm cool.
I got my Odyssey channel is not really growing because you need credits to upload videos, and you can get credits like watching videos on Odyssey. But I just don't have anyone on Odyssey that would go to Odyssey to watch.
Sticks
that I could see in other places.
We the People News. There's also the Quarter-In. There's also.
I don't watch the Quarter-In anymore. I used to watch him. He's just gotten boring to me.
Short Fact Otaku. He's a good narrator and also analytical person. But these are political guys, of course, so that's politics. I forgot about that. But if you are a gamer, there should be a few gamers. So just type in video game gameplay, you'll see me doing.
I even have their own gaming section. But whatever. Odyssey, I really don't care about. I'm more interested in BitChute, Dailymotion, and Rumble anyway.
Okay. That's good.
I'll still upload to Odyssey if I do ever get more video credits. Yeah. But it's again uploading the same video 4 different times to 4 different websites kind of became a pain after a while.
Right.
So, but I'm not gonna. But since you never know what video website could do a dumb thing next, it's best to have options. I mean, I might not even be streaming on Twitch that often, depending on how well this caption job goes. Because I've had my own problems with this company before. But
you want to talk about the Twitch TV next episode? Because right now we're at 11, so
Yeah. Well, I didn't really have anything to say about it. It's just I might not be. Before I was streaming every day except for maybe Sunday. Now it's gonna be now I might not be streaming even as half as much, depending how well this caption thing goes.
Right.
So but again, they're doing it because Joe Biden's videos were getting downvoted to hell because people are finally realizing what they got. And YouTube, bending over for Democrats. So it's just, but then again, we should expect this from YouTube. Look how they threw their creators under the bus for COPPA when it was them that caused the whole mess. And then, you gotta label if your videos are kid-friendly or not. And then they gave these vague descriptions of what it classifies as kid-friendly. Oh, it's got vibrant colors? That's kid-friendly. You said the word cool? That's kid-friendly. And that's what caused me to leave. I said, screw it. I'm not even taking a chance on a 42-cent fine. I'm surprised people didn't leave then, but I think it's only because people didn't get actually charged. Because by the time the rule went into effect, 2 months later was when the lockdowns happened in the United States for the first time. I think that's the only reason COPPA didn't have as much of a big effect as it did. So my advice to people is, you know what? At least create, even if you're not a content creator, if you just watch videos, you can find me on BitChute, you can find me on Dailymotion, Odyssey, Rumble. I use the same name, rapper JJJ. And just be ready in case YouTube does boot everyone off like Blip.tv did.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
That's, I think, everything we had to discuss. Yeah, that's everything. All right, so this was anything before I do the end outro. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, that'll be all for tonight.
All right, so
I thank you guys for watching. Before we end it on that note, I thank you guys for watching my recordings of Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, or Metal Gear Solid 2 specifically. I'll continue doing that regardless, because I should still have it on my library. As long as I don't get ready to take it off my library, I should record the HD version. If not, then I have the PS2 version to go to sometime next month or two, depending upon how well it's being recorded from now on after that deletion from the library, from the store. It's ridiculous. Like, all because of historical evidence, because the fact that we as gamers put Metal Gear's content out there recently and stuff, that's ridiculous, I wish that YouTube and Konami and Sony Music Group, whoever these companies are in charge of this content, Getty Images even, those companies, they actually gotta understand this is public domain. This is as is. Fair use, the Copyright Act of 1976. So that's all I got to say.
Okay, so this was the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. Our next episode will be on 2 weeks from tonight, on Saturday, December 4th. However, on Thanksgiving Day, in 5 days, me and Dr. Games 101 will be doing a Total Extreme Wrestling 2020 stream where he controls or tells me what to do when controlling WWE, either in 2007 or 2006. And we're going to see how well he does based on the games.
I might do horribly, because I did poorly on SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 Manager Mode.
Yeah, well, the only time I did actually well was I did the horrible General Manager mode. I still played it in 2008 though, because they had the ECW brand.
Oh yeah.
But I do a lot better in Total Extreme Wrestling 2020, so obviously I'll be helping him out. All the creative decisions will be his, but like anything that could help his shows get better, like making sure he creates storylines before we run a show or something, that's when I'll jump in and help him out. But and if you want if you're like creatively blocked and you want my opinion, if I have one, I'll also express it then. All right. We don't know what time that's gonna be, so just follow me on Twitch at rapperjjj, twitch.tv/rapperjjj, and we'll let you, and we do plan to do it sometime Thanksgiving Day after we eat dinner. So it's definitely going to be like the later afternoon. And hopefully you'll join us for that. And my Total Extreme Wrestling 2020 streams are some of my best numbers. So. All right. So anyway, thanks for watching this. Good night, everyone.
Goodbye.